Thank you to PLAUD for sponsoring a portion of this video. So is Apple about to make the same mistake twice? Because from everything I've seen, leaks, renders, app clips, I've got a lot of questions and a lot of concern.
Hey guys, Future John here. The rumor mill stops for no one. So before I filmed this, iOS is gonna be called iOS 19, but now rumors are saying Apple's renaming all their OSs to 26. So iOS 26, macOS, all that stuff. So bear that in mind as you watch.
iOS 19 is coming in hot, and on paper, it is a massive redesign. But, as this very old video can tell you, I've been through this before.
This is iOS 6 and iOS in general.
Fly to unlock, and look at that, things look crazy different. I remember iOS 7, and right now I'm getting that kind of same uneasy feeling.
It is getting crazy boring.
So yes, iOS looked the same for way too long, and a change was drastically overdue. But from what we've seen so far, the leaks, the renders, all that kind of stuff, I'm not sure Apple's aiming for a significant evolution. It feels like they're just trying to remind us they can still surprise us. And that's not the same thing as making iOS better. So let's talk about it. iOS 19 is obviously coming to WWDC, and if the leaks are right, they're going full visionOS. Round icons, floating menus, glass everywhere. And that seems to be a huge deal. According to Mark Gurman, who's pretty reliable, this is the biggest design overhaul, again, since iOS 7. So internally, Apple is calling this Solarium, which makes sense because, glass, shimmer, the whole thing that a Solarium is. John Prosser dropped renders of some of the sort of core apps. So we're talking things like camera and messages, and you can see the difference. But the best way, I think, to see sort of the actual thing from all the rumors, there's this app clip that's been floating around. I'll link to it down below. Literally click a link and you get a sense of what iOS 19 allegedly is going to look like. And you can kind of get a sense of this is what's coming. And it does look different. It's floaty, it's glassy, and it's polished, at least in this kind of renders. And I think it also looks good, but weird. It's futuristic. I think the UI is floaty, it's pretty, but we're sacrificing like clarity and strike zones for kind of the aesthetics of it. When everything's translucent and layered, can you like find everything? And yeah, the glass and the shimmer, maybe I'm pushing it, but it's giving a bit of Windows Vista energy. All aesthetics, not enough payoff. I think we remember how Vista played out. Vista looked ambitious, but in the end, it felt bloated and confusing, and people never fully trusted it. Now, I'm not saying Apple's going the same way, just aesthetically it looks similar. Obviously hoping Apple doesn't steer iOS in the same lane, because no one wants their iPhone to feel like a throwback to the most over-designed version of Windows. But also, and we're kind of talking about this here in the studio, I'm gonna own something that I've been doing. I've been saying iOS need a redesign for years. So maybe I'm being too nitpicky now that we're finally getting it. But part of me is wondering if it's all just for show. If they're redesigning sort of the core apps, messaging, music, app store, give everything in more spacing and float, just to say that it's new. Now visuals, I think, are only half of the story for iOS 19. The bigger play, and probably the crux of what this is going to be, is AI, or obviously Apple is calling it Apple Intelligence. Problem is, they've been calling it that for a while now, and not delivering. Last year, they teased smarter Siri, context awareness, on-device AI, and what we got was basically nothing. There are even rumors now that Apple's gonna avoid talking about AI altogether, not because nothing's ready, but to avoid overpromising without a release date, which if true, only adds a confusion around what they're actually building. So I think when you think about Siri, we've kind of all had that moment where it fails, right? You ask it to like take a note and she's like working on it, or and then nothing. We are midway through 2025 and somehow voice assistants still like struggle with the one thing they were made to do, remember stuff for us. It's actually what led me to this video sponsor and to try this, and it is called PLAUD Note. It is a tiny voice recorder about the size of a credit card. And unlike your phone, it actually does the job it's supposed to do. You hit record and it captures everything. Doesn't freak out when somebody calls or when your screen locks. It's perfect for meetings, interviews, or kind of honestly just when you're on a roll with ideas and don't want to stop to type. I've used it during like team calls, solo manic brainstorming sessions for video ideas, or just kind of walking around my house. And later, the app takes your recordings and sort of spits out summaries, action points, or even mind maps. And it does that because it's built on ChatGPT tech, and it's way more focused and useful than Siri has ever been. There's also the Note Pin, basically a wearable version 2. It clips to your shirt, snaps onto your laptop, It is very low key, low profile, and convenient for kind of on the go stuff you want when you want to like capture a convo without making it a whole like production. Honestly, PLAUD solves a bunch of annoying little problems, like not remembering what someone said in a meeting, or like trying to scroll through a dozen voice memos called whatever new recording 57 and then your location. It is incredibly useful. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. And when it gives you summaries from an hour-long Zoom call, it's worth its weight in gold. I think it's been awesome. PLAUD's quickly becoming kind of one of those tools that like just works and works as advertised. Whether you're like taking notes or organizing thoughts or just trying to remember what you said in a meeting. And honestly, this is like just scratching the surface. I've got something more in-depth coming soon. In the meantime, if you've got questions or just want to check it out, leave a comment or just hit the link in the description. Meanwhile, Google I/O just wrapped and they brought the heat. AI mode in search, Gemini baked into Chrome, full AI filmmaking apps with Flow, Gmail replies that sound like you, not a chatbot, real-time translation in Meet and Product Astra, basically giving your phone vision and it watches your screen and just helps. Apple, in all fairness, is still demoing features that quietly vanish into beta limbo at this point. And you gotta ask, are they done pre-announcing stuff they won't ship until the end of iOS 19? Because this year, they need to hit. No more like coming later, coming soon. No more trailers for features that disappear or don't come. This one I think has to land on stage and soon. Siri's finally gonna get its rebrand with iOS 19. All jokes, what they should have done last year aside, here's what I think we are going to get in iOS 19. And the big one is context awareness. We're gonna get on-screen actions. We're gonna get in-app control. Again, I think all things we should have had years ago. There's gonna be AI-powered battery optimization. It's gonna learn how you use your phone and stretch battery life without you noticing. We're also finally getting a charging estimate on the lock screen. That one took way long enough. And the health app's also getting deeper with AI too. Things like food tracking, personalized coaching, and video content. Some of it's probably coming later, but if it works, home run. Kind of a legit lifestyle upgrade. You might also, this would be a huge one, get to choose your AI model. ChatGPT, Gemini, CLAUD, built in to iOS. That's wild and very un-Apple, but it might be exactly what they need. Remember, they already have sort of an agreement with OpenAI's ChatGPT, and with lawsuit after lawsuit, Apple being forced to open up their operating system because of what's going on in the European Union. I don't know if it's that far-fetched, although probably. And it's not just iOS WWDC. We're gonna get macOS, iPadOS, watchOS, visionOS, all getting pretty big updates. Macs to get tighter AI integration. watchOS might finally be useful beyond workouts. I think visionOS definitely needs more apps. Bottom line, I think, for Apple is that this keynote matters more than anyone in recent years. Not just to show what's new, but to prove Apple is not falling behind. And look, I know all this is based on leaks and rumors and renders and single app clip, but we haven't touched iOS 19 yet. But the feeling that's coming from it is, it's bold. But Apple just has to have the follow through. At the end of the day, the new iOS works better. Those people won't care what the icons look like. It's not about gloss. It's about whether sort of your phone actually helps you do more than it did yesterday. This redesign is probably gonna grab headlines. The features underneath don't land, it won't matter. And if Apple nails this, iOS 19 could feel like the modern iPhone experience, the most modern ever. If not, it's another iOS 7 situation. Looks pretty, feels messy. This is Apple's shot, not just to catch up, but to actually lead. And if they wanna prove they're serious about AI, I think it's now or never. I'll be watching the keynote, and right after, I'll have a full breakdown. So if you're interested in all that, hit the follow button, it certainly helps. If you're not already, and we can see if Apple can actually deliver this time.